I need you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to say is not for the faint of heart. This is for the ones who are tired of feeling small, tired of feeling stuck, tired of letting life control them instead of the other way around. This is for the ones who have been wounded, who have carried pain so heavy it feels like it will crush them, who have been betrayed, overlooked, and underestimated, and yet somewhere deep inside, they feel a fire that refuses to go out. That fire is your power. It is time to wake it up right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life feels convenient. Right now, ask yourself, how long are you willing to live like this? How long are you going to let the mistakes, the regrets, and the betrayals of the past dictate the size of your dreams, the strength of your heart, and the clarity of your mind? Because here's the truth. The world will not wait for you to be ready. Life will not pause until your fear disappears. People will not apologize, change, or hand you what you deserve. The only thing standing between the life you have and the life you want is your choices, your courage, your willingness to heal, rise, and claim it. I promise you this: if you continue to run from your pain, continue to hide from your past, continue to let toxic cycles repeat themselves, and continue to carry resentment in your heart, nothing will change. You will wake up one day, 10 years older, and realize that the life you dreamed of was not waiting for you. It was waiting for you to show up. But if you have the guts to face yourself, to confront the truth about what has been holding you down, and to do the work no one else can do for you, everything changes. You will transform, you will rise, you will become unstoppable. This is not a speech about comfort. This is not a speech about giving you hope in a few empty words and letting you go. This is a call to action, a call to face the mirror, to look at the person you've been running from, to acknowledge every scar, every failure, every fear, and to say, enough. I will not allow this to define me. I will not allow my past to control my future. I will rise. I will heal. I will become whole. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than your circumstances. You are bigger than your fears. And today, right now, I want you to understand that your life is not a result of what happened to you. It is a result of what you are willing to do about it. So stay with me. Listen with every fiber of your being. Open your heart, still your mind, and prepare yourself. Because by the end of this video, you will no longer be the same person who started it. You will begin the journey to heal, to rise, and to step fully into the unstoppable, unbreakable, whole version of yourself that has been waiting to be unleashed. The time is now. The choice is yours, and your future demands nothing less than your courage. You cannot heal what you refuse to face. That is the brutal truth. Life does not pause. It does not wait for you to be ready. And it certainly does not forgive those who bury their pain deep in the shadows of denial. Every wound you have, every scar etched into your soul is screaming for acknowledgement, screaming for recognition, screaming for you to stop running. And yet, how often do we look away? How often do we pretend that the hurt never happened, that the heartbreak, the betrayal, the failure, the loss, the disappointment, the regret, none of it left a mark on us? We are experts at covering it up, experts at plastering smiles over cracks, experts at pretending that life's punches didn't land. But those unacknowledged wounds do not disappear. They fester, they grow. They silently dictate your decisions, your fears, your doubts, and the very trajectory of your life without you even realizing it. Denial is comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of growth. To heal, you must first be honest with yourself. Not polite, not cautious, not partial, but brutally honest. You must stare into the mirror and see the pain reflected back at you, not the face you want. Others to see, not the mask you wear for the world, but the raw, unfiltered version of yourself that is carrying invisible burdens. That is the first act of courage. That is the first step toward freedom. Acknowledging your pain is not weakness. It is the beginning of power. It is the ignition of transformation. It is the moment you stop being a victim to your past and start becoming the architect of your future. Too many people go through life numbing themselves, hiding behind distractions, addictions, work, social media, relationships, and endless busyness, all in an attempt to escape what they refuse to face. But the truth is, no distraction can outrun pain forever. Sooner or later, it will catch up. It will rise from the depths, uninvited, unannounced, demanding recognition. And when it does, if you have not confronted it, it will control you. It will dictate your mood, your relationships, your choices, your potential. Unacknowledged pain is a thief. It steals your energy, your focus, your joy, and your dreams. It masquerades as anger, as irritability, as fear, as self-doubt, as depression. And yet at its core, it is simply unrecognized, unaddressed, unhealed. You have to call it out. You have to name it. You have to say, this hurt happened. This broke me. This made me feel small. This made me feel like I was not enough. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself. Say it until the words lose their power to harm you and instead become the fuel you will use to rise. Acknowledgement is the antidote to denial, and recognition is the first brick in the foundation of your healing. Acknowledging your pain also means owning your emotions fully without shame. It means giving yourself permission to feel what you feel, no matter how raw or ugly it may be. Society often tells us to hide our pain, to suppress our tears, to act strong at all times, to wry ourselves with a facade of control. But true strength lies in facing the discomfort, in sitting in the fire of your emotions, in letting yourself cry, scream, vent, and release what has been trapped inside for too long. It is not a weakness to feel. It is not a weakness to admit you were hurt. It is not a weakness to acknowledge that life has knocked you down. Weakness is pretending that the impact did not exist. Weakness is continuing to live as if nothing matters. Weakness is allowing unacknowledged pain to silently dictate the narrative of your life. True warriors do not hide from their wounds. They embrace them. They stare at them. They feel them and they transform them into strength. Acknowledgement is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process. Pain does not vanish overnight. Memories do not fade instantly. Trauma does not dissolve with a single thought or a single tear. Healing is messy. Healing is nonlinear. Some days it will feel like you are moving forward, like you are finally confronting your demons. Other days, it will feel like the past has swallowed you whole, like the hurt is louder than your will to rise. That is okay. That is natural. What matters is that you do not run. What matters is that you do not ignore it. What matters is that you do not settle for pretending that you are fine when deep down you are crumbling. Acknowledgement requires persistence, self-honesty, and relentless courage. It requires staring into the mirror every day and saying, yes, I was hurt. Yes, I have scars. Yes, it has shaped me, but it will not define me. I will heal. I will rise. I will be stronger than the hurt that once held me down. Acknowledging your pain also teaches you compassion, not just for yourself, but for others. When you recognize the battles you have fought, the wounds you carry, the nights you cried alone, you begin to understand the silent struck glares of those around you. You learn patience, empathy, and the understanding that everyone has a story you cannot see. This recognition does not excuse poor behavior, but it transforms your perspective. You stop comparing your journey to others because you understand that everyone carries their own invisible scars. Acknowledgement cultivates wisdom. It gives you the clarity to recognize the patterns that caused your pain, the choices that amplified it, and the relationships that sustained it. You see where you went wrong, where you were powerless, and where you allowed life to happen to you instead of through you. And in that clarity, you find power. Ultimately, Acknowledging your pain is the sacred first step toward freedom. It is the key that unlocks the chains you did not even realize were around your mind, your heart, and your soul. It is the moment you reclaim your narrative, rewrite your story, and take ownership of your life. It is the moment you refuse to be defined by what happened to you and instead become defined by what you will do next. You cannot skip this step. You cannot delegate it. Healing begins with acknowledgement. You must sit with your pain. You must confront it. You must honor it. And once you do, you are no longer a victim. You are a survivor. You are a warrior. You are a human being reclaiming the life you were always meant to live. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Denying it keeps you small. Acknowledging it makes you unstoppable. It is raw. It is uncomfortable. It is terrifying, but it is necessary. Face it. Name it. Feel it. Own it. And in doing so, you set yourself on a path that no circumstance, no memory, no setback, and no hurt can ever take from you. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the first step of becoming is this: acknowledge your pain, embrace it, honor it, and let it fuel the fiercest version of yourself the world has ever seen. Your past is not your enemy. It is not something to fear, avoid, or bury deep where it cannot reach you. Yet how often do we run from it? How often do we sprint from the very memories, mistakes, and experiences that hold the key to our growth? We chase distractions. We chase new relationships. We chase validation. We chase achievement, all in an effort to escape the shadow of what has already happened. But here's the hard truth. Running from your past only prolongs your suffering. Running from what has shaped you does not erase it. It does not make it disappear. It follows you. It lingers in the corners of your mind, in the patterns of your behavior, in the decisions you make without even realizing why you make them. Every failure you refuse to confront, every heartbreak you refuse to process, every regret you refuse to own becomes a ghost that whispers in your ear, steering your life in ways you cannot control. The first step to real freedom is simple yet terrifying. Stop running. Face the very thing you have been avoiding. Running from your past is a habit, a reflex born from fear. Fear of the pain, fear of the shame, fear of being judged, fear of what it will mean to truly see yourself for who you were and who you became. But every second you spend running is a second wasted, a second giving your power away to memories that no longer serve you. The past only has power if you allow it to. And when you confront it, when you stop avoiding, when you stop pretending that it does not exist, you begin to reclaim control. You begin to take ownership of the story you are living. It does not matter how messy it was, how embarrassing it feels, or how much you wish it had been different. What matters is this moment. What matters is how you respond now. Stopping the run does not mean forgetting. It does not mean excusing. It means you understanding. It means seeing clearly the lessons hidden in the chaos. It means taking the hurt, the disappointment, the failures, the regrets, the betrayals, and turning them into a roadmap for your next move. Most people never stop running because they equate their path with weakness. They think that admitting what happened to them or what they did is a sign of failure. They fear the shame, the judgment, the exposure. They think that moving forward means pretending that the past was perfect, that they were perfect, that life was perfect. But perfection is a lie, and pretending is a prison. Real growth, real healing, real power comes when you look at your past squarely in the eyes and say, this happened, I was hurt, I was scared, I failed, I made mistakes, I was betrayed, I was broken, and yet I am here. I am still standing. I am not my past. I am bigger than what happened to me. That is the moment your past stops controlling you. That is the moment you become unstoppable. Your past is also the blueprint of who you are. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every failure is a lesson disguised as pain. Every wrong turn, every bad decision, every toxic relationship was preparing you, whether you knew it or not, for the person you are becoming. And when you run, you rob yourself of these lessons. You rob yourself of understanding why you react the way you do, why you trust the way you do, why you hold back, why you self-sabotage. Running from your past keeps you trapped in a cycle of repeating the same mistakes over and over. Stopping, confronting, reflecting, and learning is the only way to break that cycle. Every scar you have, every wound, every disappointment, every heartbreak carries wisdom if you are willing to look, if you are willing to feel, if you are willing to face it head on. Confronting your past requires courage. It requires brutal honesty. It requires sitting with memories you wish you could erase and feeling the emotions you've been avoiding for years. It requires asking yourself uncomfortable questions. Why did this happen? What role did I play? What did I learn? What patterns am I repeating? It requires looking at the relationships you once thought were sacred and asking whether they served you or held you back. It requires facing failures that still haunt you and realizing that failure does not define you. Your response does. The past is a mirror reflecting back the areas where you resisted growth, where you hid from responsibility, where you allowed life to happen to you instead of through you. And when you finally stare into that mirror, when you finally own it, the power you gain is unmatched. You can no longer be manipulated by old wounds, no longer be haunted by old fears, no longer be limited by old mistakes. Running from your past is also running from your potential. Every time you ignore it, you carry that weight into your future. You carry fear, anger, resentment, shame, and guilt into every new opportunity. You carry the past into your relationships, your work, your dreams, your ambitions. You cannot be free while tethered to yesterday. Freedom begins the moment you stop avoiding. It begins the moment you stop pretending. It begins the moment you embrace the totality of your story, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, and decide that it will no longer control you. You decide that the past will be a teacher, not a jailer. You decide that the pain will be fuel, not a barrier. You decide that your story is yours to write from this moment forward, without running, without hiding, without fear. The moment you stop running is the moment transformation begins. It may be uncomfortable, it may hurt, it may even feel impossible, but discomfort is growth. Pain is power. Fear is a sign that you are on the right path. The past is not punishment. It is preparation. When you face it, when you acknowledge it, when you learn from it, you reclaim the energy that was scattered, the focus that was lost, the confidence that was buried. You transform from someone who reacts to life into someone who commands it. You transform from someone who carries scars into someone who carries wisdom. You transform from someone haunted by yesterday into someone unstoppable today. So stop running, stop pretending, stop chasing distractions to avoid what has already shaped you. Sit down. Look at the memories that have kept you awake at night. Feel the emotions you've been stuffing deep. Reflect on the mistakes, the losses, the betrayals, the regrets. Understand that they are not your enemies, but your teachers. Learn their lessons. Take the knowledge, take the power, and then move forward with a clarity, strength, and resilience that you could never have found while hiding. The past does not define you. It informs you, it prepares you, it strengthens you. But only if you stop running. Only if you face it. Only if you embrace it. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the pain you endure. You are the courage to face it. You are the power to rise above it. You are the determination to use it to fuel your future. The moment you stop running from your past is the moment you step into the person you are always meant to be. You step into freedom. You step into clarity. You step into power. You step into yourself. Stop running. Face it. Own it. Learn from it. Transform through it. And watch as your life changes forever. Healing is not a gift that someone else can hand to you. It is not a process that can be outsourced. delayed, or borrowed from another person. It is not something that will magically happen if you wish for it or complain long enough. The harsh, empowering truth is this: your healing is your responsibility. Nobody else can fix you. Nobody else can rescue you. Nobody else can do the work that only you can do. Every attempt to delegate your healing to someone else, every hope that another person will make you whole, is a trap. It is a trap that keeps you powerless, stuck, and dependent, waiting for someone to decide that you are worth saving. But the reality is, your worth does not depend on anyone else's validation. Your restoration, your strength, your clarity, your transformation, every bit of it comes from your own hands, your own mind, and your own relentless commitment to yourself. Taking responsibility for your healing is not optional. It is essential. It is the difference between living a life dictated by wounds and running a life fueled by purpose. Most people fail to heal because they refuse responsibility. They look outward, searching for answers, for guidance, for reassurance, for someone to rescue them from the consequences of their pain, their trauma, their mistakes, or their past. They hope for validation, for forgiveness, for someone else to tell them that it is okay to move forward. But while they wait, life passes them by. Their potential is wasted. Their power is given away. The reality is, no one will ever care about your growth as much as you do. No one will push you to do the inner work. No one will stare into your darkness with the courage to confront it. No one will make the tough choices, face the uncomfortable truths, and do the unglamorous work of rebuilding your mind and your life. That responsibility lies squarely on your shoulders, and it is heavier than any external force because it is entirely yours. Accepting this weight is the first step toward freedom. Taking responsibility for your healing also means taking ownership of the choices you have made and the consequences you have faced. It is easy to blame others, to point fingers, to say, if only they hadn't hurt me, I would be fine. Or if only my life had been different, I wouldn't feel this way. But the truth is, you cannot change the past, and blaming others only keeps you tethered to it. True healing begins when you stop giving away your power through excuses. It begins when you admit, yes, this happened. Yes, I was hurt. Yes, I was affected. But what I choose to do now, how I respond, and how I rise is entirely my responsibility. That is where the power is. The moment you embrace that, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the architect of your life. Every thought, every action, every decision you make can either build your healing or break it. And understanding that is liberating. Healing is not comfortable. Taking responsibility for it is not comfortable. It demands honesty that cuts deep. It demands reflection that burns. It demands confronting habits, relationships, thought patterns, and environments that have kept you small, stuck, or wounded. It demands asking yourself hard questions. What am I avoiding? What am I clinging to that keeps me in pain? Which relationships, behaviors, and beliefs are toxic and need to be confronted? It demands courage, the kind of courage that makes your hands shake, your stomach knock, and your mind scream for an easier path. But there is no easier path. There is only the path of responsibility, the path of ownership, the path of doing what it takes, even when it hurts, even when it is lonely, even when nobody applauds you. Taking responsibility also means committing to consistency. Healing is not a one-time event or a weekend retreat. It is not a single therapy session or a conversation with a friend. Healing is a daily practice, a relentless pursuit, a conscious decision every morning to engage with yourself fully. You will have good days and bad days. You will make progress and take steps back. But if you are truly responsible for your own healing, you do not quit. You do not give up. You do not rely on external validation to keep going. You keep showing up for yourself because no one else can do it and because your life depends on it. Responsibility is not a burden. It is power. When you embrace it, every step forward, no matter how small, compounds into massive transformation. Taking responsibility for your healing also requires setting boundaries. It requires recognizing that not everyone in your life will support your growth, and some may even resist it. Some people are comfortable keeping you in a state of pain because it serves them. Others simply cannot understand your journey and may inadvertently hurt you. When you take responsibility for your healing, you learn to protect your energy, protect your mind, and protect your heart. You create space for yourself to grow without interference. You choose who and what you allow into your life, because every person, every environment, every influence shapes the trajectory of your recovery. Responsibility is about making those choices consciously, with courage and clarity, not passively or out of fear. Finally, taking responsibility for your healing is about claiming your power to transform your life. It is about refusing to allow pain to define you. It is about deciding that your past, your mistakes, your trauma, your heartbreak, and your setbacks will become the fuel for your rise. When you accept that the work is yours, something shifts. You stop waiting. You stop blaming. You stop hoping for someone else to intervene. You become relentless in your pursuit of wholeness. You face your wounds head on. You sit with the discomfort. You confront the difficult truths, and you take every necessary action to reboot. Build yourself stronger, wiser, and more resilient. That is responsibility. That is ownership. That is power. That is freedom. The moment you take responsibility for your healing, you step into control of your life. You no longer allow the past to dictate your present. You no longer wait for permission to be happy, whole, and complete. You no longer rely on others to save you, validate you, or fix you. You take your life into your own hands. And in doing so, you reclaim your strength, your confidence, your focus, and your purpose. Every scar becomes a story of resilience. Every setback becomes a lesson of wisdom. Every pain becomes a stepping stone to greatness. Healing is no longer something you wait for. It becomes something you create actively, intentionally, relentlessly, every single day. Your healing is your responsibility. Your growth is your responsibility. Your transformation is your responsibility. And when you finally accept that, you no longer live in fear of what has happened. You no longer carry the weight of unresolved pain into every new day. You no longer allow excuses, avoidance, or external validation to control your life. You step into your power. You step into your potential. You step into the person you were always meant to be. It begins with ownership. It begins with responsibility. It begins with a choice to stop waiting for someone else to save you and to start saving yourself. You are the only one who can do this work. You are the only one who can take control. You are the only one who can heal. And the moment you accept that, the moment you embrace that, your life will never be the same again. You will rise, you will grow, you will transform, you will heal. Toxic cycles are silent killers. They wrap themselves around your life like chains you cannot see. Chains that limit your growth, drain your energy, and steal your future. They come disguised as comfort, familiarity, and routine. And before you know it, you are trapped, repeating the same patterns over and over, expecting different results while wondering why life never changes. These cycles can be in your relationships, your thoughts, your habits, your environment, or even the way you see yourself. They are the invisible forces keeping you small, weak, and dependent on what you think you can't escape. And the painful truth is this: no one can break these cycles for you. No one can do the hard work of standing up, facing the mirror, and saying enough is enough. Breaking a toxic cycle is your responsibility, your war, and your moment of liberation. Most people do not even realize they are in a toxic cycle. They think that life is happening to them, that circumstances are unfair, that people are mean, that luck is against them. They fail to recognize that the patterns they accept, the behaviors they tolerate, and the mindsets they cling to are the very things perpetuating their pain. They fall in love with familiarity even when it destroys them. They remain in relationships that suffocate their soul, friendships that erode their self-worth, careers that kill their dreams, and habits that numb their potential. And all the while they ask, why am I stuck? Why is life unfair? Life is not unfair. You are repeating a cycle you refuse to break. The moment you take a hard look at your life and admit this truth, the moment you recognize the change you are willingly wearing, that is the moment the door to freedom opens. Breaking toxic cycles requires brutal honesty. It requires you to see patterns you might have ignored for years, patterns that hurt you, held you back, and kept you from living the life you deserve. It requires asking yourself uncomfortable questions. Why do I keep choosing the same type of people who hurt me? Why do I allow my thoughts to sabotage me? Why do I repeat behaviors that harm my growth? Why do I stay in environments that keep me small? These questions are not easy. They cut deep. They make you uncomfortable. They confront you with truths you might not want to face. But until you face them, until you stop hiding behind excuses, distractions, and denial, nothing will change. Awareness is the first step toward breaking a cycle. But awareness alone is not enough. Action must follow, and it must be relentless. Breaking a toxic cycle also means cutting ties with what no longer serves you, even when it hurts. It means making difficult decisions to leave relationships, friendships, jobs, or habits that have become anchors holding you down. It is painful because we often confuse familiarity with safety. We stay because it is easier than facing the unknown, easier than doing the work, easier than risking discomfort. But what you tolerate, you accept. And every day you stay in a toxic cycle is another day you rob yourself of growth, joy, and freedom. Breaking a cycle is choosing yourself over convenience, courage over comfort, and growth over stagnation. It is saying to yourself, I refuse to live this way anymore. I will not be controlled by the past, by patterns, or by people who do not value me. I will rise. Toxic cycles are not always external. Often the most dangerous ones exist inside your mind. Negative self-talk, self-doubt, fear, guilt, shame, procrastination, and destructive habits are cycles you repeat every day without even realizing it. They are internal chains that shape your reality. If you say to yourself, I'm not good enough, over and over, your actions will reflect that belief. If you allow fear to dominate every decision, you will remain in the same place for years. Breaking these internal cycles requires self-discipline, awareness, and relentless commitment to change. You must enter. Rock your thoughts, challenge your beliefs, and retrain your mind to act in alignment with the person you want to become, not the person you have been conditioned to be. Breaking a toxic cycle also requires accountability. You cannot do it in isolation. You need clarity about your patterns, the courage to face them, and the willingness to confront what you have tolerated for too long. Sometimes that means seeking guidance from mentors, coaches, or people who have walked the path before you. Sometimes it means being brutally honest with the people around you, setting boundaries, and refusing to participate in dynamics that keep you small. Accountability forces action. It ensures that awareness does not fade into laziness or complacency. Every toxic cycle you allow to continue is a choice. And every choice you make to confront it, interrupt it, and replace it with healthier patterns is a victory, a step closer to freedom. Breaking a toxic cycle is not a one-time act. It is not a single confrontation, decision, or boundary. It is a daily commitment to yourself. Every morning, every choice, every action is a chance to either reinforce the old pattern or create a new one. It is uncomfortable. It is inconvenient. It is challenging, but the discomfort is temporary and the reward is permanent. With each cycle you break, you reclaim more of yourself, more of your energy, more of your potential. You begin to live intentionally, not reactively. You begin to control your life, not let life control you. You begin to transform from someone who survives into someone who thrives. Breaking toxic cycles also teaches resilience. Every time you confront a difficult truth, every time you make a choice that defies the patterns of the past, you strengthen your character. You learn that you are capable of change. You learn that your past does not define you. You learn that discomfort is temporary, but transformation is eternal. Every cycle broken is a victory that compounds, creating momentum that propels you forward. The chains that once held you now become proof of your strength. The habits, relationships, and patterns that once limited you now become lessons in wisdom. Every time you resist the pull of familiarity and step into the unknown, you step closer to the life you are destined to live. The moment you decide to break a toxic cycle is the moment your power returns. It is the moment you refuse to allow past mistakes, destructive behaviors, negative relationships, or limiting beliefs to dictate your future. It is the moment you step out of reaction and into action, out of fear and into courage, out of stagnation and into growth. It is the moment you declare, I am not defined by what I have tolerated. I am not limited by what I have endured. I am choosing myself, my growth, my life, and my freedom. That is the moment transformation begins. That is the moment you rise. That is the moment you heal. No one can break your cycles for you. No one can fight your battles for you. No one can force you to change. The responsibility is yours, and it is heavy, but it is liberating. Every time you take action to interrupt a toxic cycle, every time you make a conscious choice to do what is right for your growth instead of what is easy, you reclaim your life, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your purpose, you reclaim your power. Breaking a toxic cycle is not a moment, it is a movement. It is the movement of your life from stagnation to transformation, from limitation to freedom, from fear to courage, from old patterns to new possibilities. Do not wait, do not delay. Do not hope that things will somehow change on their own. Identify the cycles that are keeping you small. Face them with courage. Confront them with honesty. Interrupt them with action. Replace him with habits, beliefs, and relationships that serve your growth. The process will be uncomfortable, it will be challenging, and it will demand every ounce of courage you have. But the reward is a life lived intentionally, a mind unchained, and a soul free. Break the cycles. Rise above them. Reclaim yourself. Transform your life. The chains can be broken, but only if you take the first step and refuse to repeat the patterns that have held you down for too long. Forgiveness is one of the hardest battles you will ever fight, but it is also one of the most liberating. Most people misunderstand what it means to forgive. They think forgiveness is weakness. They think forgiveness is for the person who hurt them. They think it means excusing the behavior, forgetting the pain, or pretending nothing happened. But forgiveness is none of those things. Forgiveness is not for them. It is for you. It is the weapon you wield to cut the chains of resentment, anger, and bitterness that have been holding you hostage. When you refuse to forgive, you remain a prisoner of the past, chained to the people and experiences that hurt you. Your anger becomes your burden. Your bitterness becomes your identity. You carry the weight of everyone else's actions, but you are the one who suffers the most. True freedom, true power, true peace comes only when you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. Carrying grudges is heavy. It drains you. It consumes your energy, your focus, and your potential. It steals your joy, your clarity, and your peace of mind. Every time you replay the betrayal, the insult, the trauma, or the injustice in your mind, you are feeding the fire that keeps you small, weak, and stuck. You think holding on gives you power, but in reality, it is giving your power away to someone else. Every moment spent hating someone who hurt you is a moment spent not building yourself, not growing, not rising, not moving forward. Forgiveness is the act of taking that power back. It is the conscious decision to no longer allow someone else's mistakes, cruelty, or negligence to control your life. It is the recognition that your energy is precious and you will no longer waste it, carrying the weight of pain that is not yours to bear. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean reconciliation. It does not mean that you have to allow toxic people back into your life. It means that you accept what happened, you acknowledge the pain, you process it fully, and you release the hold it has on your heart. It is an internal act of liberation. It is saying, I will not allow what happened to define me. I will not allow it to dictate my future. I will not let it steal another moment of my life. That is power. That is control. That is freedom. When you forgive, you are no longer a victim of someone else's actions. You reclaim your autonomy, your peace, and your ability to rise above the circumstances that once held you down. Many people resist forgiveness because they confuse it with weakness or vulnerability. They think if I forgive, I am letting them win. I am admitting myself up to being hurt again. But true strength lies in the ability to forgive. True strength lies in the courage to release anger, resentment, and hatred while maintaining your dignity and integrity. True strength is choosing yourself over your grudges, your peace over your bitterness, and your future over the past. Holding on to anger may feel like power, but it is an illusion. It is a prison disguised as strength. Forgiveness is the act of breaking free from that prison and walking into the sunlight of your own potential. Forgiveness is also a process, not an event. It takes time, effort, and patience. You may not feel ready to forgive immediately, and that is okay. Healing itself is not instantaneous, and neither is forgiveness. You must work through the pain, confront the emotions, and understand the impact of what happened. You may feel anger, sadness, or grief along the way, and those emotions are natural and necessary. They are part of the process of reclaiming your life. But every step you take toward releasing resentment is a step toward freedom. Every moment you choose to let go is a victory over the past. Every act of forgiveness is a declaration that your life will no longer be controlled by what others did to you. Forgiveness also transforms the way you see yourself. When you carry resentment, it defines your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who is wronged, someone who is angry, someone who is wounded. That becomes the story you tell yourself every day, and it holds you back from your true potential. When you forgive, you stop defining yourself by what others have done. You reclaim your narrative. You choose to be someone who rises above, someone who is strong enough to let go, someone who refuses to be defined by pain or betrayal. Forgiveness allows you to see your own power and your own strength. It reminds you that your life belongs to you, not to the people who hurt you. Forgiveness is also the key to building healthier relationships and environments. When you carry grudges, you project your pain onto others. You become reactive, defensive, and suspicious. You sabotage connections, push people away, and attract negativity. Forgiveness clears the emotional clutter and allows you to engage with the world from a place of strength, not pain. It allows you to create space for love, growth, and opportunity. It allows you to walk through life unburdened, unchained, and unafraid. By forgiving, you open the door to the kind of life that is aligned with your highest potential, not the remnants of your past suffering. Forgiveness is also an act of self-respect. It is saying, I refuse to let what happened control me any longer. I refuse to allow anger, bitterness, or resentment to define me. I am bigger than this pain. I am stronger than this hurt. I am taking my life back. It is a declaration of sovereignty over your own mind, heart, and soul. Every time you forgive, you honor yourself, your growth, and your ability to rise. You show the world, and more importantly, yourself, that you are not a victim. You are a warrior. You are someone who refuses to be imprisoned by the past. You are someone who chooses freedom over suffering, power over bitterness, and peace over anger. Ultimately, forgiving to free yourself is the pathway to unstoppable living. It is the gateway to reclaiming your energy, your clarity, your focus, and your joy. It is the act that allows you to rise above your circumstances and transform your pain into purpose. Forgiveness does not make the pain disappear, but it neutralizes its power over you. It allows you to move forward, unencumbered, unchained, and unafraid. It is the final act of taking responsibility for your own life, your own healing, and your own destiny. When you forgive, you are no longer a prisoner of the past. You are a master of your present. You are the architect of your future. You are free. So stop holding on. Stop giving your energy to resentment. Stop allowing the people who hurt you to continue controlling your life. Forgive, not for them, but for you. Forgive, release, rise. Forgiveness is not easy, but it is necessary. It is a choice, a discipline, and a weapon. It is the act that will free your heart, clear your mind, and ignite your soul. Forgive and reclaim the power that has always been yours. Forgive and step fully into the unstoppable, unchained, and extraordinary version of yourself that is waiting to rise. Rebuilding your mind and heart is not for the faint of spirit. It is a war that requires courage, discipline, and relentless determination. After you face your pain, stop running from your past, take responsibility for your healing, break toxic cycles, and forgive. You are left standing in the rubble of who you once were. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can settle, you can survive, or you can rebuild. Rebuilding is not about returning to who you were. It is about creating who you are meant to be. It is about taking the pieces of your past, the lessons from your pain, the scars from your battles, and forging them into a foundation strong enough to support a future that is extraordinary. This is not easy. It is messy, uncomfortable, and often lonely, but it is necessary and it is transformational. Your mind and heart have been conditioned by years of experiences, by failures, by heartbreak, by trauma, by negativity, by external voices, and by self-doubt. They have been programmed to protect you, to warn you, and often to hold you back. If you are not intentional about rebuilding, you will continue to operate under the old programming. You will repeat old patterns, make the same mistakes, and allow faith, awe, and doubt to dictate your life. Rebuilding is about interrupting that programming. It is about consciously choosing which thoughts you allow, which beliefs you reinforce, and which emotions you cultivate. It is about creating a mind that sees opportunity in adversity, a heart that responds with resilience instead of fear, and a spirit that refuses to be broken by circumstance. Rebuilding your mind requires discipline. It requires a relentless commitment to training your thoughts, shaping your beliefs, and expanding your capacity to think bigger than your current reality. You must eliminate the mental clutter, the self-limiting beliefs, the toxic internal dialogue, and the patterns of negative thinking that have held you prisoner. You must fill your mind with truth, with vision, with possibility, with purpose. Every day, you have to feed your mind with ideas, habits, and practices that reinforce the person you want to become, not the one you were. You must immerse yourself in growth, in learning, in challenge, and in discomfort. Rebuilding your mind is about creating a fortress of clarity, confidence, and unshakable focus. It is about refusing to allow past failures or outside opinions to control your narrative. Rebuilding your heart is equally critical. Your heart has been wounded, betrayed, and burdened. It has learned to protect itself through fear, anger, avoidance, or numbness. If you do not actively rebuild your heart, it will remain closed, reactive, and unable to love, trust, or feel fully. Rebuilding your heart means reclaiming your emotional sovereignty. It means learning to process pain without letting it define you. It means cultivating self-compassion, resilience, and emotional intelligence. It means allowing yourself to feel deeply without being controlled by your emotions. It means choosing to respond rather than react, to act from strength rather than thought, in fear, and to love without losing yourself in the process. Your heart must become a well of courage, empathy, and balance, capable of sustaining both your ambition and your relationships. Rebuilding is also about integration. It is not enough to strengthen your mind while ignoring your heart, or to heal your heart while leaving your mind cluttered with fear and doubt. True transformation requires alignment. Your thoughts must support your emotions must support your actions, and your actions must reinforce your vision. When your mind and heart work together, you create unstoppable momentum. You think with clarity, feel with authenticity, and act with purpose. Rebuilding creates a synergy that allows you to move through challenges without being derailed by old wounds, limiting beliefs, or toxic emotions. Rebuilding also demands resilience. The process is not linear. You will encounter setbacks, triggers, and moments when old patterns resurface. You will feel doubt, fear, and pain. There will be days when it feels like you are back at square one, and that is part of the journey. True rebuilding is measured not by the absence of struggle, but by your capacity to persist, to rise, and to continue shaping your mind and heart despite adversity. Each challenge you overcome, each moment of discipline, each act of courage strengthens the foundation you are creating. Every scar, every lesson, every obstacle becomes a brick in the structure of your new self. Rebuilding requires action. It is not passive. Reading, reflecting, or feeling is not enough. You must engage with life actively. You must practice gratitude to shift your perspective, challenge yourself to expand your comfort zone, and surround yourself with people who elevate and inspire you. You must create rituals, routines, and habits that reinforce growth. You must confront fear head on and do what others avoid. Rebuilding is the deliberate daily work of shaping a mind and heart capable of withstanding life's storms, capable of pursuing greatness relentlessly. Forgiveness, responsibility, and courage all feed this process. Your rebuilt mind and heart cannot thrive if you still carry resentment, blame, or avoidance. Every step of rebuilding requires that you integrate the lessons from your past, accept the pain, and consciously choose growth over stagnation. Your mind must reject the old narratives of limitation. Your heart must release the old wounds that keep you tethered. Only then can you fully embrace the life you are always capable of creating. Rebuilding is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle, a discipline, a way of being that ensures you no longer live small, reactive, or in fear. When you rebuild your mind and heart, you also rebuild your identity. You become a person who acts from strength, not weakness. You become someone whose decisions are guided by clarity, purpose, and vision. You become someone who responds to life rather than being swept away by it. You become someone capable of achieving the impossible, not because life is easy, but because your foundation is unshakable. Rebuilding transforms you from a survivor into a warrior, from someone defined by circumstance into someone who defines their own destiny. The ultimate goal of rebuilding your mind and heart is liberation. It is the ability to live fully without being held back by fear, trauma, or old patterns. It is the capacity to pursue your dreams with clarity, courage, and conviction. It is the freedom to create, to love, to lead, and to rise above every limitation you have ever known. When your mind is sharp and your heart is resilient, nothing can stop you. Your path becomes your teacher, not your jailer. Your pain becomes your fuel, not your anchor. Earth scars become your strength, not your shame. And every day you step into the light, you were always meant to live with unstoppable power, focus, and purpose. Rebuilding your mind and heart is not a one-time task. It is the greatest commitment you will ever make. It is a promise to yourself that no matter how dark your past, how deep your wounds, or how heavy your pain, you will rise. You will think bigger. You will feel deeper. You will act stronger. You will create a life that reflects your highest potential. And every brick you lay, every thought you shape, every emotion you master brings you closer to the unstoppable, unbreakable version of yourself that has been waiting to rise. Stepping into your future whole is the ultimate act of courage, the culmination of every battle you fought, every scar you've carried, and every lesson you've learned. After you have faced your past, taken responsibility for your healing, broken toxic cycles, forgiven, and rebuilt your mind and heart, you are no longer the person you once were. You are not someone defined by trauma, mistakes, or limitation. You are not a reflection of the pain, rejection, or setbacks that once held you down. You are a force that has risen from the ashes, forged through struggle, disciplined through challenge, and strengthened through resilience. But stepping into your future whole is not about perfection. It is about completeness. It is about owning every piece of yourself, accepting your story, and moving forward with confidence, clarity, and unstoppable determination. To step into your future whole, you must embrace your full identity. There is no room for pretending, hiding, or self-denial. Every experience you've endured, every mistake you've survived, and every lesson you've learned is part of the mosaic that forms you. Your past is not baggage. It is the blueprint for you. Our power. To deny it is to deny yourself the opportunity to live authentically. To step into your future whole, you must acknowledge all that you are. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your scars, your victories, and your potential. You must stop compartmentalizing parts of yourself. Stop running from the truth. And stop allowing fear or shame to dictate who you believe you are. Wholeness begins with acceptance, the radical acceptance of your entirety. Your future will demand courage, and stepping into it whole means refusing to shrink in the face of uncertainty. The unknown is terrifying for anyone who has been wounded or limited in the past. You may feel doubt, fear, or hesitation because you know how fragile life can be, how unpredictable circumstances are, and how often people fail. But stepping into your future whole is not about waiting for certainty. It is about acting with conviction despite it. It is about trusting that the work you have done, the healing, the rebuilding, the forgiveness, the discipline has prepared you to handle whatever comes. Wholeness is not fragile. It is unshakable. It is the awareness that no external force can diminish the strength, clarity, and purpose you carry within yourself. Stepping into your future whole also requires vision. It requires a clear understanding of what you want, why you want it, and how you will achieve it. Without vision, even the strongest, most healed, most disciplined person drifts. You must define your future in vivid detail, not vague hopes, not wishful thinking, but a concrete, intentional picture of what your life will look like, how you will think, how you will act, and how you will feel. Every decision, every action, every habit must align with that vision. Wholeness is living in alignment with purpose. It is being intentional in every choice. It is refusing to allow distractions, negativity, or the opinions of others to steer you away from the life you were born to create. Stepping into your future whole also demands self-trust. The only way to move forward without hesitation is to believe in your own power, judgment, and resilience. You must trust that the lessons you've learned are sufficient to guide you, that the strength you've cultivated is enough to carry you, and that the love, forgiveness, and wisdom you've earned are sufficient to sustain you. Self-trust is forged through action. It is built each time you follow through on your commitments, face your fears, and rise above challenges. The more you act from a place of integrity and clarity, the more your trust in yourself grows and the more unstoppable you become. Stepping into your future whole also means embracing responsibility. Wholeness is not passive. It is not waiting for opportunities to appear, for circumstances to align, or for others to approve your growth. It is claiming ownership over your life, your actions, and your destiny. You do not blame the past, you do not wait for luck, and you do not allow excuses to hold you back. Every success, every setback, every challenge, and every victory is the result of your choices. To step into your future whole, you must embrace that responsibility fully, because it is only through ownership that you gain freedom, power, and control over the trajectory of your life. Your relationships, environment, and influences must also reflect your wholeness. You cannot enter your future as a complete person while tolerating toxicity, negativity, or people who undermine your growth. To step into your future whole, you must surround yourself with those who elevate, challenge, and inspire you. You must create spaces that support clarity, focus, and purpose. Wholeness is not isolation. It is discernment. It is the ability to choose connection that strengthens and releases that woke. Hits, limits, or drains every influence you allow into your life. Either supports the whole version of yourself or diminishes it. And stepping into your future, whole demands that you make these choices consciously, deliberately, and unapologetically. Stepping into your future, whole also requires resilience in the face of setbacks. Life will always test you. Challenges, failures, and disappointments will appear, but wholeness equips you to face them without losing your center, without abandoning your vision, and without surrendering to despair. You will stumble, but you will rise faster. You will be challenged, but your foundation is unshakable. You will face adversity, but you are no longer defined by it. Wholeness is the strength to maintain your path, your integrity, and your purpose, even when the world seems determined to push you off course. Finally, stepping into your future whole is an act of self-liberation. It is the ultimate declaration that you are no longer controlled by your past, limited by fear, or constrained by what others think. It is the moment you recognize that everything you need to create an extraordinary life exists within you. The clarity, the courage, the discipline, the wisdom, the love, and the power. It is the moment you stop waiting, stop doubting, and stop shrinking. You rise fully into your potential, carrying with you the lessons of your past, the strength of your present, and the vision of your future. You are whole. You are unstoppable. You are free. Stepping into your future whole is not just about survival. It is about thriving. It is not just about healing. It is about mastering. It is not just about living. It is about dominating your life with purpose, clarity, and relentless ambition. When you step fully into wholeness, every moment becomes an opportunity to create, to grow, and to rise. The future does not intimidate you because you are prepared. You are complete in yourself, equipped with the mind, heart, and spirit to face whatever comes. Your past no longer defines you. Your pain no longer limits you, and your potential no longer waits. It is here, it is now, and it is unstoppable. So step boldly. Step with purpose. Step into your future whole, carrying the lessons, strength, and wisdom of everything you've endured. Step with clarity, courage, and conviction, knowing that you are prepared for every challenge, equipped for every opportunity, incapable of creating a life beyond your wildest imagination. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for validation. Your future is here. It is yours. Step into it fully, completely, and unapologetically, and watch as the life you were meant to live unfolds before you, unstoppable and whole. Now listen closely, because this is where it all comes together. Every battle you faced, every wound you've carried, every setback that made you question yourself, every tear, every sleepless night, they were not meant to break you. They were meant to prepare you. They were meant to teach you that you have within you a strength so deep, a power so relentless that nothing and no one can stop you if you choose to rise. You need to understand this. Your life does not change because the world suddenly becomes easier. Your life changes because you choose to heal, because you choose to take responsibility, because you refuse to allow the past to dictate your present or your future. You've heard every keynote. You followed every step, and now it is time to act. Healing is not a suggestion. It is a demand. You cannot wait for someone to save you, for circumstances to change, or for pain to magically disappear. The only person who can do this work, the only person who can reclaim your mind, your heart, and your destiny is you. You have to step into your power, embrace the discomfort, face the truth, and do the work that no one else would do for you. The choice is yours, and the time is now. I want you to picture your future, not as it is, but as it could be. A future where you are unchained from the lies, the fears, the toxic patterns, and the pain that have held you back. A future where your mind is sharp, your heart is strong, and your spirit is unbreakable. A future where you move through the world with confidence, courage, and purpose, where you create love and rise in ways you never thought possible. That future is waiting for you, but it won't come to those who refuse to do the work. It comes to the ones who are willing to stare into the mirror, confront their reality, and say, I am not my past. I am not my scars. I am not my pain. I am the architect of my future, and I will rise. And here's the truth that will change everything for you. No, one can stop a person who has made peace with their past, taken responsibility for their healing, broken toxic cycles, forgiven, and rebuilt their mind and heart. That person is unstoppable. That person is a force of nature. That person does not wait for permission to be great. They claim it. That person does not sit in fear. They move in faith. That person does not shrink. They rise. And that person is you, if you choose it. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop blaming, stop tolerating what keeps you small. Stand up, take control, and commit to your healing like your life depends on it, because it does. Step boldly into your future whole. Own your story, embrace your power, and rise with relentless determination. The life you were meant to live is not somewhere out there. It is within you, and it is waiting for the courage to meet it. This is your moment. This is your choice. Heal, rise, and become unstoppable.